This is Factorio, and this is space. Unlike the peaceful planet of Norvis, space is incredibly hostile. Luxuries like oxygen and running water simply do not exist here. This makes building your first interplanetary spaceship kinda difficult. Blueprints are for wieners. True cosmonauts build their own space platforms. So, let's build one together. Dear viewer, as of recording, we've just reached 10,000 subscribers. I'd like to set myself some other kind of sub goal, but you guys are probably just gonna smash it out of the park again. On to the video. At this point, you've probably already built a cheeky little white science platform, with some basic processing. You may think to yourself, let's just strap some rockets onto this. I cannot stress this enough, do not do that. We need a spaceship for zooting around the galaxy. This little one needs to stay home and provide science. So let's get into it. The first thing we need is a name. I recommend something subtle and clever. A good mindset to have about your ship is that it's more of a moving factory than a regular spaceship. Once it's built, it's going to be providing itself with everything it needs to not explode. We start with a brick. Very nice. What is a spaceship without big old rockets? Let's slap some on. You'll immediately notice that their inputs and outputs are a little funky. Trying to build a straight row of them is not going to work. We need to design them either like this or like this. How many rockets do we need? Yes. 5 is plenty. Then we are going to need fuel. No, silly. Obviously, we are not going to use the same fuel that literally all other vehicles in the game use. We need special space fuel. Namely, blue fuel and red fuel. Yes, this is their scientific names. If you say otherwise, you're an enemy of the state. We can make this fuel with basic chemical plants. I'd recommend putting these close to your thrusters so that the fuel doesn't have to travel too far. We're also going to build some storage because we do not want to get marooned in space. Now, we just need to connect it up. Remember, blue to blue, red to red, then red again to red, and then another couple of blue to blues. Voila! We will also need water as one of the ingredients for our fuel. As I said, there isn't exactly running water in space, but we can melt ice. Great, now we can make fuel. Except we can't, because we have no base resources. Oh, I'll just import these from Norvis. Once again, I cannot stress this enough, do not. Remember, self-sufficiency is key. Launching rockets into space is expensive, especially if you're bad at the game. We can get these resources another way. We have already mastered the art of grabbing space rocks and processing them. Come on, come on. Got it. So let's build some grabbers. There is no up in space, but this is also the direction most asteroids come from. So that's where we're going to put all of our arms. Their radius can functionally be ignored because there are going to be way more rocks than a few of them can handle. Perfect. At this point, you may be realizing that this spaceship is taking a lot of parts to make. It's really useful to have a bunch of factories set up on Norvis, making all the parts you need. Having multiple launch sites is also going to help speed up the process. Now, we need to turn these stinky asteroids into useful material. We need some grinders. Then, we are going to need some power to keep the lights on in the big, dark, empty void of space. But how do we do that? We have two options, solar or nuclear. For the purposes of this video, we're going to keep it simple and go with solar. If you know how to make higher quality solar panels, great. Otherwise, the normal ones will do. I'd also highly recommend adding some green modules. Our space factory is coming alive. We are now hurtling headfirst towards the biggest problem for a space platform. And no, it's not a fuck off big asteroid. It's logistics. By now you may have noticed that you can't easily store stuff in space. Because storage boxes just kind of float away or some shit. Beats me why. Additionally, drones don't work in space either. Or trains. But fret not. There is a technology that can aid us in this dark time. An ancient and forgotten science that helped the first engineers conquer Norvis in the first bug war of 06. Its rumored use lives on in Japanese restaurants in strip malls all over the world. Yes, I'm talking about the sushi belt. See, the benevolent devs let us have one really big storage box on our space platform, and that is the Space Platform Hub. We can even make it bigger with a couple of these. So if we feed all the resources we harvest into it, and then take them out when we need them, we can make this bad boy fly. Our belt is going to take the resources where they need to be, and the excess back into storage. This should work perfectly and indefinitely. I can see no reason whatsoever that it should... Oh. It filled up with trash. Luckily for us, In space, you can just chuck stuff into the abyss, like a half-eaten McDonald's quarter pounder with cheese. I've been trying to appeal to my American audience more lately. So let's build some inserters to throw stuff away. Whoop, don't forget to set a filter. This is working great, but now our storage isn't so much a storage as much as it is a highway to the trash can. Fixing this requires advanced programming knowledge. Well, that's what I thought anyway, and I avoided the solution like the plague. But, my dear viewer, if you can understand what this word means, then there is hope. If we have more than 10 of these, yeet. That's it. That's the whole thing. Connecting your inserters to the storage takes a green wire, and then you just need to connect your sushi bolt, like this. All this is doing is measuring what's in storage and on your belt, and just chucks the things you have too many of. It took me embarrassingly long to figure this out. Please note that if you are a racist and are against sushi belts, it is possible to build a design more like this, where outputs go directly to where they need to be. But these designs aren't nearly as scalable. Wow, look how far we have come, comrade. I mean, dear viewer. We have a fully functioning space platform that turns unbridled rage into fuel, and never gets too full. At this point your space platform might be a little misshapen. That's okay. The min-maxing mega nerds of the Factorio subreddit will tell you that your ship is too wide. Because, for some reason, width, not weight, determines how much your ship is slowed. I have no idea why. Go at the devs about it. But fear not the nerd, and neither their heresy, for our ship is curvy and shapely. For the purposes of spreading democracy in space, being like 20% slower isn't really going to matter all that much. We need to do one last check to make sure we don't get marooned in space. You wouldn't go on a road trip to Salt Lake City, Utah without making sure you had enough gas. Was that good? We need to make sure we have enough fuel before departing, but I'm too lazy to look at our red and blue fuel tanks. So let's set up one last if statement. Only take off when the fuel tank is full. Just make sure your fuel tanks are also connected via a green wire. We are now ready to go colonize the shit out of space. Let's go! Huh, I wonder why the game saved automatically just then. Uh-oh. Dear viewer, that was an accurate recreation of the first time I launched my very own space platform. I forgot to put turrets on it. Thank God for autosave. We need to make sure our space platform is properly defended. The agents that seek to destroy our democracy are abundant in space, and they are also shaped like rocks. So let's put down some turrets. Perfect. But a gun without ammo is just a metal tube. So we're going to need some bullets. Where do we get them from? I swear to God, if you just said Norvis, you have failed me as a prodigy and I spit on you. Self-sufficiency. We're going to be making space bullets. They're like regular bullets, but made in space. Luckily, we already have some iron ore, so we just need to process it. This is the ratio of assemblers to smelters, but like, if your ratio is a little off, who cares? Bullets go into storage and then out again, so we can build up a decent supply. And hey presto, we have created a war machine comparable in firepower to an F-16 fighter jet, with about double the style. Once more, into the breach. Wow, we finally made it, dear viewer. I wonder what strange alien planet awaits us. Oh nice, Gleba. Wonderful. I hear this planet is peaceful and easy. I hope nothing will go wrong.